Hey. uh, my. Hey there, this is Andy Grider, and I'm the host and producer for Unique This Week. It's a production of Uniqueness is Power. You can find us at uniquenessispower.com on YouTube. That's all the shows that are out there. And what we try to do is bring you somebody who is doing something that is blue ocean. And boy, is it hard to be blue ocean when you're in the space of networking. But Daniel Knight, the chief executive unicorn of Unicorn Universe, has done just that. It's an amazing, cool thing that he's put together here. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how it came about. And first of all, let's say hi to our guest, Daniel. Nice to have you here, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. I appreciate it. Excited to be here and can't wait to have this conversation.
That's awesome. I mean, again, we really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're ridiculously busy out there connecting dots, at a rate faster than is almost humanly possible. Almost like you have to be a unicorn to do it. Tell me a little bit about your background, Daniel. Let's let our listeners in on kind of who you are. I noticed you have a very varied and wide open past, sort of a serial entrepreneurial past. What led you to here?
Yeah, so I definitely am a serial entrepreneur, have done all sorts of different businesses. And a couple of years ago, you wouldn't have caught me dead at a networking event. I was not a connector. I didn't really understand the value that connectors bring to the world until we started Unicorn Universe. I was one of the founding partners and started as operations. I was previously doing tech development and operations and automation for financial service professionals, and then just slowly over time found ways to leverage connections and strategic partnerships and things like that to generate revenue for myself as well as all sorts of other people. So we kind of came together and leveraged all of our existing business models to create Unicorn Universe. And with the focus of the connector at heart, like that's where everything stems from, is the connector.
Yeah, let's talk about the connectors a little bit. I mean, you and I both are definitely of that ilk. I didn't realize that it was a fairly recent thing for you, though, in the last 5 or so years. That's pretty impressive because you're very good at it. And you've certainly figured out how to do the attraction of other people like that, to the point where you hold a weekly event. There's other things you do. Let's talk about what is Unicorn Universe, though. Let's start there.
Okay, so ultimately it's all focused on connection. And what it is a community of business owners, entrepreneurs, and people who are purpose driven to make a positive impact in the world and ultimately through connections. And so by connecting people with resources or solutions or opportunities that help them do what they love the most, that's how we create a community of unicorns creating joy, which is our mission statement. So we do that through referrals to our partners, referrals between each other, and again, setting up partnerships and taking it to the next level, which we call golden connections.
Well, and that's funny you mentioned that because I was just about to ask about it. One of the things I've noticed in a lot of the literature that you send out in the emails and other pieces that come out to the folks you're touching, is the golden connections. And is that one of the things that makes us very different from a typical networking group? Can you give our listeners a little bit of an idea of, again, I mean, you hit on a lot of things, but what makes it different and why would they want to attend a Unicorn Universe event versus spending their time at another group, whether it's a BNI or another group out there, what is it that's going to set this completely apart?
Yeah, so the golden connections do make it different, but what really makes us different is that we are really focused on the people and not the projects. We like to say people, not projects all the time, and having a good time. And it's more about the type of person that we focus on versus the type of business, their industry, stuff like that. That's where we kind of get into with the golden connections. And so we do a twice a month mastermind for people that are in our climbing in the top of the rainbow membership levels, where they can then come to our weekly connection events and share who their golden connection is. And so we'll dig in and spend time twice a month, like I said, to really focus on the business side of things and what kind of connection could be that golden connection that could change somebody's life. So we're really focused on the connection aspect. When people come to our events on Fridays, it's so much fun because we ask questions like, what is something magical that happened recently? Or who is a connection that you're looking for? Or, what's something that brings you joy? And then we'll do random questions too, like how do you like to vacation? Or how are you using AI in your business? So it's always different. We always invite guests who we think would get value out of it and bring value to everybody else who's on the call. So,
Right.
yeah.
So you've mentioned Golden Connection, harken back to Golden Buzzer, harken back to Golden Ticket, harken back to other things like that. If you think about pop culture, you've got Golden Buzzer with American Idol, and you've got Golden Ticket with Willy Wonka, things like that. So what is? I mean, I think I understand, but let's talk to our listeners also about what the Golden Connection would be. And have you actually experienced one of those in person now that you've seen somebody get one and seen it change everything for them?
Yeah, so a good example would be we have this guy who was planning on going and starting a new venture, and he decided to change because of an introduction that we made. And so rather than going off and focusing on this shiny object, we kind of gave him a different one, but it created much more impact for his business and generated a couple $1 million, specifically through the employee retention credit. I know a lot of business owners are familiar with that, have been hit with it 100 times. And we connected him with one of our partners who he went and created a whole new venture specifically for it and has helped hundreds of businesses generate something around 10 or 11 million dollars at this point, recovered for their business. He got paid a percentage. The partner that helped fulfill it got paid a percentage. We got paid a percentage for facilitating that. So these types of relationships create either consistent deal flow, save people time, or create new opportunities. And it can be through the form of joint ventures, referral partnerships, cross promoting, or collaborating. It really just depends on what is going to help somebody get to where they're trying to be the fastest, right? And by leveraging relationships and bringing people together to do exactly that, because we're so much stronger when we work together, and that's why we help people collaborate.
Well, and one of the other things I think that I hear you say on a regular basis, both in your outreach and what you've articulated here and our other meetings together, is that this is about joy. This is about finding the fun, having a good time, and exploding your business while you're doing it. Because I think a lot of people look at business and networking as well as a slog, as a, oh God, I got to go to that meeting. I don't get that impression about the Friday afternoon sessions with Unicorn Universe. I don't get that impression with any time I ever meet with you. We have a good time, we laugh, we have talk about cool stuff, find ways to help each other. So talk a little bit about the joy aspect, because I think that's really important in differentiating what you're doing from what else is available out there.
Yeah, so we really do focus on that. And so what we'll do, and it's funny because you say people will dread going to certain networking events, right? That's why one of the reasons we call it a connection event is because, and we even say on there, avoid transactional networking. Don't just pitch your thing and try to get sales out of it. It's really about building relationships. And relationships in and of themselves can create more joy for people. But so at the end of our connection events, we'll do what we call a flow bow, which is a bonus in flow session where we're actively listening and paying attention to the conversation, paying attention in the breakout rooms to what's like a common theme that's coming up today. And, the a couple weeks ago, for example, that common theme was health and wellness. And so we said, okay, the conversation for today seems to be around health and wellness. So we're going to do a bonus half hour after our 2 hour connection event in flow. And we're going to talk about, drum roll, everybody, health and wellness. So it's the end of the 2 hours. We appreciate everybody who's been here. You're welcome to stay on if you would like. We're going to do another just group discussion about health and wellness. And otherwise, thanks for coming. You can, go on with your day if you would like. Otherwise, stay on. And it's so funny because I'll say that and then I'll sit there and I'll wait and nobody jumps off the call. Everybody wants to stay on, It's like we'll have anywhere from 30 to 50 people on the call, and that kind of adjusts, as people need to come on and off of the call. but toward the end, there's usually, 15 to 20 people, and usually they all stay on because that's just been a very exciting conversation, and people are excited to keep talking about it. And man, it gets deep in some of those conversations. We get people that are talking about some very personal things. We have people in tears. I've been in those kind of places just because we're really talking about things that people are passionate about. And that's what it's really all about, is how can we support people's passions to help them live a lifestyle of more joy. So it really is all about joy. That's our mission, is to create a community of unicorns creating joy.
I was going to say, it's, the Beatles were right. Love is all you need. It's, I mean, and it really, I mean, it comes through in so many different ways with how you handle things. Like you said, I think that the other thing that's a huge difference in this connection event mentality is people are not afraid to be vulnerable. They're not afraid to be real, authentic. It brings out a certain type of person. We talked about, or you mentioned that briefly earlier, that the type of people that come to this event, it's not by industry and it's not by product specialty or anything like that. It's by what's here. It's by what's in the heart, what's, how they think about what they do. So if somebody said, "Hey, am I right for this event, Daniel?" What's the best way to tell somebody, "Yeah, you're right for this event," or "No, you're not"?
So usually you can just kind of feel it, and you just know when you're talking with somebody who thinks in abundance, they want to collaborate, they're passionate about what they're doing and driven to accomplish their goals. They want to make a positive impact. You can just kind of tell those things, and we'll have conversations with people. We get to know them before just inviting them on. We'll invite people, and sometimes it ends up not being a fit, but they don't usually stick around for very long because they just don't have that same kind of passion for all the different elements that we have identified as the unicorn DNA, which is essentially 16 different points of the type of people that we're looking to work with and have in our community.
Well, for a very long time, I've always said you can't fake that sparkle in the eye, which is where that spark comes from, and that the passion and the drive and the joy and the abundance and a lot of things you talked about, the purpose-filled missions, all of those pieces. And again, there's an awful lot of inspirational / motivational speaking out there and things along those lines where people point to all of those things as being intrinsically core in business. But this is one of the first times I've seen anyone take it and make it intrinsically core in what is essentially networking and connecting and gathering of like-minded people to help each other. I love the concept. As a connector myself, it's just brilliant. And as somebody that is fairly altruistic too, and I try to do things for the right reasons, this just appeals to me on just about every possible level. And I think a lot of our listeners like does attract like. So, Daniel, talk to me a little bit more. Is there anything coming up that our listeners would want to know about? Any events you have coming around? Anything along those lines? And how does somebody get in touch with you to find out if they're a good fit for Unicorn Universe?
Yeah, so you can always connect with me on LinkedIn. That's typically where I respond the best, which is just at 10x unicorn. Or you can go to my personal page and learn more about me, which is unicorn10x.com. So kind of flip them. 10xunicorn.com was not available. But anyway, so that's kind of the best place to connect with me. Coming up, we are launching a new community platform, which is designed to create even more joy and opportunities for people and streamline connections between all of our community members and help each other grow in all sorts of different ways. I'm really excited about that. We're launching the community in the last week of April, so that's just coming up here real quick. And then we're just going to continue to grow. We have a couple different events coming up, 3 in particular in Arizona in the second to last weekend of May, and working with a cloud kitchen company for that, one of our other partners who's hosting it at this space. We're doing a networking by the lake event with another company we're involved with. It's all about collaborating. Every event that we do, we're collaborating with other companies in some sort of way. So, yeah.
Well, I was going to say it is growing that community. It's interlacing and making sure everything's stronger. I think you said that earlier, that we're all a lot stronger when we work together. Many hands make light work. There's all sorts of expressions that harken to that. But what I love about what you're doing, Daniel, is it's not expressions, it's not trite, it's not stuff people can shrug off very easily when they understand the power of what those loose connections can do, the power of what putting all that together and making it no longer just loose can do. Power of loose connections is a pretty big thing, but from there, what you do to bring it all together is just brilliant. Is there, outside the LinkedIn piece, if somebody reaches out to you, are they looking to set up a meeting? Are they looking to try an event? What's usually the best way for them to get involved?
Well, I would say you can always go to our website, unicornuniverse.io. If you really resonate with this and you want to be a guest at one of our connection events, there is a form that you can register at, which is just guest.unicornuniverse.io. I'm an operations guy. I try to make things simple. And so otherwise, we have a weekly podcast that I do that's live on LinkedIn. You can check that out. You can email me, daniel@unicornuniverse.io. And we'll make some magic together. That's what it's all about.
Awesome. Daniel, it is an absolute pleasure to have you as a guest. You're doing really great work and making a huge difference, both on a personal level and, quite frankly, for so many others. And that's, again, the win-win-win aspect of all this is such an important thing. It's also making you stand out because, again, most networking is much more transactional, as you've alluded to. Some of it's actually directly transactional anymore. I really appreciate the fact that you're building relationships and spreading joy and bringing together partnerships. It's a beautiful thing. Like I said, really, really excited to be working with you, and very happy to have you as a guest. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Andy. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. My name's Andy Grider. This has been another episode of Unique This Week, where we try to bring you somebody who's doing something different, something new, something blue ocean, or if they're doing something in a crowded marketplace, they're doing it in a completely different way. As Mr. Daniel Knight is doing here. Networking is definitely not a small venue. There's a lot of people that do networking. If you get a chance, though, if you've got the heart, if you've got the mindset, if you are somebody that likes to do connecting and not networking, if you're somebody that understands how to build alliances and partnerships, this is a great opportunity. And something I would highly recommend getting in touch with Daniel in all the different ways he mentioned. If you look on the screen, he's got all of his stuff up there. You can even take your phone and do the QR code. There's all of it, there to work with. So reach out, make sure you get in touch with them, and then please feel free to spread this around. Take this, share it with your friends. Share, if you're not that person, share it with somebody you know, and keep coming back for more. Please subscribe to the channel and let us know what you think. If you've got a guest for us, let us know that too. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon.